From a professional soccer career to becoming a driving force in the mortgage industry, Brian Covey has shown what it takes to find your competitive edge. Get off the sidelines and get in the game. Find your competitive edge with Brian Covey.
Good morning and welcome to this webinar that we are excited to be sharing with you. Elle and I are going to be talking about personal branding. And a lot of you have reached out over the past couple of years. And I know my own personal journey of the last 5 years of going from having no personal brand to now where I've got something established and still working on that next level. I believe you're going to find some value no matter where you are. If you haven't even started, you have no idea what personal branding means. You're not even sure if it matters for you and your industry because you may think this isn't relevant. Well, stay with us because I think you're going to find out personal branding really does matter for a lot more of us than it has in the past. So we're going to walk you through some of those steps of how you can get in the game around personal branding. So we've got one of the experts. I actually work with Elle and her team over at Brand Builders with Rory Vaden and AJ Vaden. So you may know of them. They've worked with everybody from Ed Milet to Eric Thomas to Lewis Howes to Mel Robbins, all these famous people, and then normal people like myself. So you'll find today is going to be of value for all of you, no matter where you are on the journey. And our intention today is to show you a little bit around why this is important, and then also walk you through some of the steps how you can get in the game and find success, not only make more money, but also find more fulfillment in what you do. So Elle, thank you for joining. I'm excited to dive into this with you. And I know a lot of people ask about personal branding. You're the guru. You've been helping me through this.
Appreciate that, Brian. I'm going to share my screen and we can go ahead and get started. So here we go. Y'all see that? I always like to share on May 4th, 2018, my entire life changed with one phone call. I had just wrapped up selling a brand new executive level client. I was starting a whole new consulting client the following week. And that afternoon, it was about 5 o'clock on a Friday, I get a phone call from our CFO. Now, at that time, our CFO was a good friend of mine. We had a very casual, friendly relationship. We were really good friends, loved his family. And he calls me, I'm like, what's going on? A little weirded out that he was calling me on an afternoon. And he said a sentence to me that completely changed the trajectory of my career. And he said, your services are no longer needed. Now, I thought he was messing with me. And I said, that's not effing funny. What are you talking about? And he was like, this is not a joke. And so that day, a company I had been with for a decade, I no longer was a part of. And my entire world was wrapped up in that company. The people I worked with were my family. They were my best friends. And not even that, less than a year prior, I had actually decided to leave my husband. I moved to Nashville, left my home, moved to Nashville. And in less than 12 months, my entire identity got stripped from me. Identity of being a wife was gone, of being a daughter-in-law was gone, of being a dog mom was gone, family was gone, friends were gone, my job was gone where I labeled myself as a top performer. And everything that I found worthiness and strength in had came from this identity that completely unraveled in front of me. Now, I was not alone in that day. It also occurred to two other women that I had worked with. And we sat there and we go, what do we do next? And fast forward a few months, along with our co-founder, Rory and AJ Vaden, we decided to start a company that helped people reinvent themselves, reconnect with who they were really meant to be, their identity, create the one that they wanted to live into, and then how to put that out in the world to serve people, make big impact, and also make money while doing it. And that's how we started Brand Builders Group. And what we learned over time, and we've been saying this for years, is that personal branding is no longer a trend. It is not a fad. It's not this thing that's going to be here today and then gone tomorrow. It's actually the future of business because personal branding is a trust accelerator. And we partnered with a company in Texas, actually last year, to do the first ever nationwide study on personal branding, because we knew we were onto something, but we wanted to make sure that we had the data to back it up. And what we learned were some really interesting things, such as 74% of Americans say they are more likely to trust someone with an established personal brand. 74, that's almost 3/4 of Americans are more likely to trust you just because you have an established personal brand. Not only that, if you look, 63% are more likely to do business with you. They're more likely to buy from you if you have an established personal brand. So that begs the question that we hear all the time is, what's a brand? Like, what does that even mean? Because oftentimes what people think personal branding is they think logos, they think colors, they think website, they think photography, and that's all a part of it. That's visual branding. But ultimately, how we define branding is a brand is what people think of when they think of you. What do people think about when they think about you? So the question I have for you is, what is your brand? Like, what are the things your colleagues, your friends, your family, your clients, people in the community that you network and socialize with, what do they think of when they think of you? What are the words that they're saying? And do those words align with what you want them to be saying about you? So for example, I'm told I'm sassy, I'm direct, I'm straightforward, I'm the best brand strategist you'll ever meet. I'm just kidding. I don't claim any of those to be true. I am sassy. That is one problem. That is one word that I absolutely am okay with being associated with my brand. But you have to look at, are you in charge of what people say about you, or are you leaving that up to chance? Because here's the thing, another word for personal branding is your reputation. This is the backbone of building a personal brand. It's your reputation. And so we don't think about personal branding in terms of how many followers you have, or what your engagement rate is, and what your social media posts look like, and what's the aesthetic of your feed. None of that is truly important. It is important, but it's not what defines you. Your personal brand is simply your reputation. And so ultimately, personal branding is the digitization of your reputation. It's taking the offline onto online. And so how we define reputation is your results times your reach is your reputation. Meaning, what have you done and who actually knows about it is your reputation. Now, I can guarantee, almost bet money on this, is that most of the folks tuning in today have spent their entire career focused on results. You have spent time, especially, I know this to be true, Brian, you're a competitor, right? You're all about results. And so a lot of folks in here, when they think about reach, they think ego. They think it's a popularity contest. They think influencer, and they're like, I don't care about being famous. I don't care about being popular. And I just care about getting the results, of making progress, because that's what success means to me. And the challenge with that is when all you do is focus on results and not also on your reach, then you can't serve more people because not enough people know about you. And so when you think about the people that you're serving and you're going, well, shoot, if I'm not out there promoting what I do, there is someone else who is not as good as me, who doesn't care about someone as me, who doesn't have the process as strong as I do locked in, who doesn't have my experience the way I do it. There's someone else who's not as good as me, but because they are better at promoting themselves than I am, they're going to get the clients that should be coming to me. It's crazy, because we know that if we can focus on both, that provides opportunity. And so we want to be not just results focused, but we also want to be reach focused in order to create this really strong reputation. So now a reputation can be positive and a reputation can also be negative. Give you an example of this. You have this woman on your left is Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa has a worldwide reach. Most people know who she is. She's done amazing things for this world. Therefore, she has a positive reputation. Now, this gentleman on the right, Bernie Madoff, worldwide reach, not so much of a positive reputation. He did a lot of negative things. He did a lot of bad things. And so he has a large negative reputation. So it can be positive and it can be negative. But again, results, positive or negative, worldwide reach, also reputation. So this actually begs the question that most people ask us is going, well, what actually matters more? Is results matter more or reach? Do I have to have results before I have reach? Or do I need reach before I have results? What actually is it? And the answer is it's both. So to demonstrate that, we have this guy on the left, and his name is Michael Phelps, and chances are you knew that. Michael Phelps is the most winningest Olympic gold medalist from the men's U.S. swim team. Now, this woman on the right, unless you're a swim fanatic, chances are you don't know who she is. And this is Jenny Thompson. Now, what's crazy is Jenny Thompson is basically the equivalent to Michael Phelps on the female U.S. swim team. She has won more gold medals for the U.S. swim team than any other female, but yet we don't really know who she is. Well, why is that? Can't answer. We don't work for their teams. However, what's crazy is because Michael Phelps' team has really done an incredible job at building his fan base, at building his reputation, at building his reach. Now, obviously, he did the results. He did the hard work of training and having the success, but his team also helped him with his reach. And because of that, he can get caught smoking pot and have this controversy, but turn this obstacle into an opportunity and get a brand deal for talk therapy. That only happens because you have such a strong reputation. It's able to take an obstacle and turn it into the opportunity that it is when you have a strong reputation. That's one of the benefits of it. Now, Jenny Thompson, I don't even know what she does today. I don't even know if she's still swimming. However, that shows you can have incredible results, but if people don't know who you are, you don't get the same opportunity. And what we hear is that we pride ourselves in being humble, and we don't care so much about reach and building a brand and media and all those things. But what we do care about oftentimes is revenue. And what I hear all the time is going, well, I need more prospects. I need more referrals. I need more clients. I need more opportunity. I need to know more people. I need to do more marketing. I need to post on more on social media. And it's like, I need, because I need to drive revenue. I need to get results. Here's the deal, y'all. A lack of revenue is never your biggest problem. It never is. A lack of reputation is your biggest problem. I'm going to say that again. A lack of revenue is never going to be your biggest problem. That is not the challenge that you're facing. It's a lack of reputation. Because one thing that we know for sure is that reputation will always precede revenue. It's a lack of reputation. And I'm not telling y'all that this is how it should be. I'm just saying this is exactly how it is. Because if someone does not know about you, they cannot do business with you. If someone doesn't know who you are, if they don't know what you offer, they can't actually do any business with you. So it doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's just how it is right now. And here's what's even crazier is depending on your industry is how important it can be. So Americans believe that doctors, employers, lawyers, financial advisors, bankers, success coaches, consultants, insurance agents, nutritionists, real estate agents, accountants, personal trainers, chiropractors, your loan officer, all of these are extremely important that that person has an established personal brand. And what's crazy is if you tend to work with more men than you do women, then it's 9% more important to a man. So with that, we go, it's not about the corporate brand anymore. It's about you as an individual. It's about your reputation, because reputation wins revenue every single day of the week. And it's not simple, or it's not necessarily easy. It is simple. So it's not necessarily easy. It is simple, because here's the thing. What we need to do is we need to go from unknown to known. Part of building your personal brand is becoming known. And the challenge that people have is they stay on the side of unknown. There's this thing called Sheehan's wall. On one side are people that are unknown. The other side are people that are known. Now, the reason why we stay on the unknown side is because we're not necessarily clear about the problems we solve, or maybe we are talking about too many problems, or our education is similar to the next guy and our experience isn't really that vast and different, or our process doesn't really set us apart, because at the end of the day, there's only so many ways you can do what you do, and that your tools are the same tools that other people in your industry have access to, and the products aren't necessarily that much different either. And what happens is we're doing all these different things. We're wearing all these different hats. We're doing all these different jobs. We have all these different things going on that we ultimately have diluted focus. And when we have diluted focus, we get diluted results. And what we end up doing when we're focusing on too many different things, we're talking about all the same things, we don't have enough of a different process, what's happening is we're commoditizing ourselves. We have created these industries where we have become a commoditization because we haven't separated ourselves with what makes us unique. And so if you're in an industry where you're a dime a dozen and there's a bunch of people just like you out there, and I know no one's just like you, but if you are, we have to go, what is going to separate us from the noise? And how do we go from unknown to known? And what we want to do is get crystal clear on one thing. And this, y'all, this is the number one secret to building an influential personal brand. Now, before I share with you the number one secret, I'm going to also share with you, this is the number one thing that people want to skip over. When it comes to building your personal brand, people jump so fast to websites and social media and posts and logos and colors, and they skip the groundwork and the foundation, or they do it, but not super in depth. And when you do that and you skip over it, what happens is you invest a lot of time and money and energy and resources into these visual things, these tangible assets, which is great, but you don't get the conversions you were hoping for because we're not crystal clear on the foundation of what our personal brand is, which we actually call your brand positioning statement. So going back to the number one secret to building your personal brand is getting crystal clear on what problem you solve. What problem do you solve? And really, we want to narrow this down in one word. So just take 30 seconds, write down in one word, what problem do you solve? Now, when you look at that word, chances are you probably actually wrote a solution. And I'm going to show examples of that in a minute. But oftentimes we think in terms of solutions because what people do is they buy solutions to problems. People buy solutions to problems. So if you don't know what problem you solve for them, they don't know either. So to give you some examples, if you know Brene Brown, she solves the problem of shame. She does that through vulnerability. Dave Ramsey, for those here in Nashville, you know, it's crystal clear. He solves the problem of debt, and he does that through cash. That is the problem he solves. Simon Sinek solves the problem of purpose, of lack of purpose. And then Lewis Howes is self-doubt. These are problems that these people have built multi-million, billion-dollar businesses on in just one word. Yes, it can be hyphenated. Because what they ended up doing is once they got crystal clear on what problem they solved, they became an ambassador of that problem. You have to sell the problem as much as you sell the solution. And so you have to become an ambassador of that problem. Go, this is what I do better than anyone else, is help you solve this. And you might be wondering, well, how do we figure this out? Because you could be concerned, or you could be struggling with that one word problem. And that's really common. In fact, it can take hours to come up with what that problem is. And how we do that is through a series of exercises, what we call the brand DNA helix, to help you identify what is the problem you solve, Who are you solving it for? How are you going to monetize this? How are you going to grow and scale this business? How are you going to package yourself? And how are you going to position your brand? Because you don't want to differentiate yourself based on product or knowledge. You want to differentiate yourself based on trust. And when you get crystal clear of what you are doing and what you are building, it is easier to trust you. And then you don't want to differentiate yourself based on what you do, because you might be really, 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 really great at what you do. And you've built an incredible business doing what you do. But if you separate yourself and differentiate yourself on who you are, that's going to be a much more long-standing reputation than if it's focused on what you do. Because if you ever want to flip or switch or go do something else, if you built a reputation on who you are, that's going to allow you to make any transition and pivot that you would ever need. So if you think about it, brand is what people think of when they think of you. A reputation is an assessment of your trustworthiness. Now you might be wondering, okay, well, how does this matter when it comes to generations? Older generations, if you appear fake or untrustworthy or manipulative, that's what's going to annoy them. When it comes to younger generations, they get annoyed by people that become across as too salesy or they're not really interesting. So it's not really that much different than another person, but you got to focus on who you are. So that way it doesn't come across as too salesy because you're being yourself. And it is more interesting because you're being yourself. And it doesn't seem fake, so you're able to build more trust. And so when you do it on who you are, that will change the game, because people can't copy you. They can't duplicate you. You are your own person, your own experiences, your own opinions, your own thoughts, your own stories. You can't actually try to be someone else because people are not copyable. And people do not do business with companies or services or knowledge or expertise or products. It's not your company. It's not your offer. It's not the service or the products. It's the person that we are, or the people that we are. It's the person that you are, because people do business with people. And the unfortunate part is that when we spend a lot of time trading value for influence, we're not able to spread that message, because there are people out there who are really, really, really good at promoting themselves, and they're really good at building a brand online, but they're giving advice that sucks. And so what we want to do is make sure that we're focused on providing as much value as possible, because that means we're going to drive more business. 2/3 of Americans, this came from that same study, 2/3 of Americans are actually more willing to spend money on your products and your services from companies that the founders have a personal brand that's aligned with their values, especially older millennials, which is crazy. So if you look at that, they actually do care about it. You got to look at where's your target market and which generation are they in. Chances are a lot of the folks on this call, you're older millennials or you're Gen X. So with that, this still matters heavily for them. 65% is no joke. This matters. And it all comes down to building trust. How do you actually build trust with someone that you don't get to spend time with, who doesn't actually have quality time with you? Is they need to see you, know you, and learn from you. Because when people know who you are and they know what you do, they have two questions. They go, do I like them? And do I trust them? And if they don't get to spend that quality time with you, the only way they get to decide if they like and trust you is based off of what they see online and what other people say about you. And so that's the power of social media. It allows people to see you. It allows you to share yourself and what's important to you, so they feel like they know you. And then you can also create content that they can learn from you. And when you do that and you drive them back to your website and you have it set up in an engine, and we call it the relationship engine, that is an ecosystem online that works nonstop, that allows you to attract people and convert them and learn about who you are and what you do, and then eventually become a fan, follower, customer, client, whatever you want to call it. That's where this all comes together. That's how you leverage offline and online together. So how a relationship engine works is real simple. Again, this is simple, not necessarily easy, but simple, is it starts with a blog. You have a blog where you provide free content, complimentary content, depending on your industry, of a lot of value. Every single week, you're consistent with it. A blog does not have to be written. It could be a video that you get transcribed. It could be repurposing a podcast that you're putting out. Do not overcomplicate this. Just be consistent and provide great value. What you want to have on the side of your blog is you want to build the back end. Most people focus on the front end and not on the back end first. But if you don't have the back end built, you're not going to be able to convert the way you want to. And so you don't have to have all three of these. We do recommend them, but you can start with one or two. It's up to you. But the first thing you have is a video funnel. People get really overwhelmed when they hear the word funnel. All this means is we drive to a landing page, we get someone's email, and then we give them content. That's ultimately, if we were to simplify that at its finest, is a video funnel. But this would be a 4-day video funnel. And at the end, there's a call to action to request a call or buy now or set up an appointment or invest, whatever your calls to actions are. We would figure it out. That's what happens at the end of the 4 days. A direct funnel is a direct call to action. Buy my book here, hire me to speak here, schedule an appointment here, whatever it might be, schedule an intro call. And then a webinar funnel is, instead of it getting dripped over time, it's one thing that you can do evergreen, meaning you create it once, you update it every 3 to 5 years, and it just lives there and works itself. And at the end, you have a call to action. And that sales page might not be an exchange of money. It might be, again, scheduling an appointment. So you want to build the back end. Once the back end's built and we're consistently putting out content, we're driving people to there, then you want to focus on the front end. And this is where you drive traffic. So there are 3 different types of traffic that you can drive. First is free traffic. That's the most common. That's your email list, SEO, social media, news outlets, podcasts, whether you're a guest or you're having your own. But you can drive people back to your funnels or to your blog from those things. There's paid traffic. So this is one mistake people often make, is that they jump into paid traffic way too soon. So if we're doing paid traffic way too soon and we don't have analytics set up and we don't really know what converts and what doesn't, you're going to spend a lot of money really quickly without an ROI. So we want to make sure that we have that tight before we do that. And then the last is the most fun, is get paid traffic, where you can get paid to speak and drive people back to you. You can get paid to write a book and drive people back to you. But this is the context of it in a nutshell, is going build the back end, put out content, and then drive people to your content. That's how the relationship engine works. And here's the deal, just like we tell my nephew Jasper, even if you don't like it, you're still going to have to do it. If you want this to work, if you want your personal brand efforts to work, if you want your website to convert, if you want to actually get results versus just having something pretty out in the vortex in the ether room, you want to set up your relationship engine so that way you can capture and convert people to drive revenue. The thing when it comes to marketing, y'all, is the future of marketing is not about who has the best content. And I'm going to let y'all know this. If you suck in real life, you're going to suck online, and we can't help you. But it's not necessarily about the best content. It's about who has the most sophisticated system. It's who has the system in place. And sophisticated does not have to mean expensive, y'all. It just means it is clear, it works, we can track it, and that it gets results. That's what we mean by it, and that's the relationship engine. Now, when it comes to your content, a big concern people have is, well, if I constantly am giving them value, if I'm constantly teaching people how to do what I do or to get what they need, then why would they hire me? Like, what would they need from me? And that's the thing, y'all. People don't pay for information. They pay for application. That's what they're paying for. They need help doing this, so they pay for application. And what I would encourage you is to not try to do this on your own. I would encourage you to delegate to experts, such as Brand Builders Group. It doesn't have to be us, but I want to share a personal story here. Back in 2018, I had shared with y'all, had gotten a divorce, lost my job, moved to a new city, all the things, right? But what I also didn't share is what a financial shamble I was in. And at that time, due to a lot of different factors, I had a 6-figure tax bill. Due to the relationship aspect, my credit was shot. I had enough money in the bank to cover my expenses for about 6 to 9 months. So that way, I could live on my savings until we figured out if we were starting a new company or not. But ultimately, my financial life was a wreck. And when I moved to Nashville, I asked a trusted friend, I need to talk to someone. Who should I go to? And they introduced me to a family CFO program at the bank. And this woman completely changed my life. She got me in touch with the right advisors. She got me in touch with the right CPA. She got me on plans that I needed that I didn't even know. She talked to the IRS. She did all the things and helped guide me along the way. And now my credit is not perfect, but almost there. I'll get there. I own a house. I have money in the bank. I'm making more money than I ever had before. Things are all on the up and up, and it's amazing. But why I share this with y'all is could I have figured out on my own how to get rid of that bill and take care of it in 4 months, how to get this house, how to repair my credit, all that stuff. Could I have figured out how to do that on my own? Most likely. I could have done all the research. I could have just taken the time and figured it out on my own. But what I knew is if I tried to do it on my own, it would take me longer. It would cause more frustration than I needed because I didn't necessarily know the right steps in the right order. I would have wasted a lot of energy and resources and time. And I probably would have spent more money trying to hire the wrong people. And what I would encourage y'all is when it comes to this is there is a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of people that are focused on different areas and they're not building it all together. So make sure when you do delegate, you have the right partner because it will be life-changing, not just for you, but for your business. And so what I would encourage you is to schedule a call. We do these free strategy calls. If you go to freebrandcall.com/Elle, we can put that in the chat. But we do these calls with our teams where you can hop on for about 45 minutes to an hour and just tell us about your business and what your goals are and where you're heading with it and what you've been working on and where you want, what the vision is for it. And we can share with you about how our process would apply to you if it does. And if it does, great. And if not, no big deal, no harm, no foul. But I would just encourage you to schedule a call with our team. And the last thing I would like to leave you with is just remember, you can build a business all day long. It will never be as valuable as building your reputation. Thanks.
Elle, that was awesome. I was over here jotting some notes down and going through this a few times. What I love is like you said, the simplicity of it. It's not always easy, but I've often found in my life, nothing that was really easy was ever really worth it. The things that you went through that were difficult, that were hard, they were worth it. And so I would encourage everybody, schedule the call, reach out, let Elle know, or you can reach out to me. I know some of you guys had reached out ahead of time, like, hey, what's going to be this whole webinar? What's happening there? And I wrote this down, and we've talked about this, is go after what you want. You know, in life, too many times, I think we all hesitate and we know there's a calling or we know there's an urge. There's something we want to do bigger in our life and we hold back. And those are the regrets that stack up later. So go after what you want. This has been one of those, I wanted to do this with Elle and share this with you guys because it's made an impact in my life. And then you'll see this journey continue to unfold. But I felt like it's one of those things when somebody gives you a gift and it's really cool, you tell your friends about it. So that was the purpose of today. So reach out to us. Let us know how we can assist you in your journey. And just know, as Elle shared her story, most of you that know me, if you go back 5 years, you probably wouldn't have found me much on social, and how that's changed my business, my life, and my family. And I'm looking forward to blessing others with that information and now application. So reach out to us afterwards, and we will catch you guys on the next webinar that we'll probably follow. If you have ideas, questions, all that, hit us up, and we'll catch you then. Take care, guys. Have a great day.